Hi to everyone. Welcome to RCV class again. Today we are going to revise the story about Mulan. Remember Mulan's story when the emperor calls every man to join the army and fight the enemy. Mulan's father is an old and ill and can't go. Wearing men's and clothes, riding a horse, Mulan leaves her family and fight bravely for the emperor in her father's place. Okay, she is soon a hero for all the soldiers in the Chinese army. One of them, Yeming, is her best friend. Yeming learned that Mulan was not a man and he falls in love with her. So he went to the house of Mulan and asked Mulan's parents to marry her, and they live happily in the village for many years. Okay, so that's a summary of Mulan's story. Okay, about the characters, huh? Mulan's father, San Ying, Siyong, Yeming, and the emperor. Okay, so just revise the activities in Mulan's story. Okay, are you ready now? Okay, number 1, to revise the activity. Okay, number 1, choose the best answer. The story begins in a village in China. Mulan works in her room. Mulan follows San Ying through the village. Then Mulan buys a saddle for her horse at the market. Mulan finds the Chinese army near the Yellow River. Okay, next is about the character. Mulan makes clothes to sell in the market, and Mulan's father is old and ill. Mulan's best friend in the village is San Ying. Then Mulan joined the army in Hua's place. And number 5, Yeming gives Mulan something hot to drink when she joined the army. Okay, that's about the character. Okay, next is for the dialogue. Who say this? My father's name is first on the list, Mulan. You can join the army and save our family name. Who say this? Mulan's father. You have a new horse. Where are you going? Who say? San Ying. Hello there. Come and join us. Okay, Yeming. Okay. Next, for the vocabulary words, the time when two people marry means wedding. Then join means to go with. Awake means not sleeping. Clothes means something that people wear, and cheer means to shout happily. Okay. Next is for the plot of the story. The emperor wants a man from every family to fight in the army. Then Mulan's father can join the army because he is old and ill. Sayong can join the army because he is a young boy. Mulan goes in her father's place because she is brave and clever. And then Mulan fathers give some money to her and she goes to buy a horse. Okay, so that's all for the Mulan story. So revise again for the story for a better understanding. And next, revise the next story is about the Great Fire of London. Okay, for the Great Fire of London, okay, in London was a busy city in 1666. It was crowded. The streets were narrow and dusty. The houses were made of wood very close together. Inside their home, people used candles for light and cooked an open fire. A fire could easily get out of control. In those days, there were no fire engines or firemen to stop a fire from spreading. The fire began on early Sunday morning. On the 2nd of September, it started in Padding Lane in the shop of King's baker named Thomas Fariner. When Thomas went to bed, he didn't put out the fire that heated his oven. Sparks from the oven fell onto some dry flour sacks, and they could caught fire. The flame spread through the house, down the Padding Lane, and into the nearby street. Soon London was filled with the smoke. The sky was red with the huge flames from the fire. By Monday, 300 houses had burned down. Everybody was in panic. People loaded their things onto cart and tried to leave town. Others tried to get out on boats on the river. Some people buried their things in a garden, hoping to save them from the fire. The fire still spread, helped by strong wind from the east. London Bridge and St. Paul Cathedral were both burned. On Tuesday, King Charles II ordered that houses and shops be pulled down to stop the fire from spreading. By Wednesday, they had the fire under control. But by then, 100,000 people were homeless. Two people have left as eyewitness account of the fire. The first is Samuel Pepys, who worked for the Navy. He kept a diary from 1660 to 1669. The second is John Evelyn, who also kept a diary. Both men decide how dramatic and scary the fire was. So that's the summary of the Great Fire of London. Okay, let's revise for the character. Who's the Thomas Fariner is the king baker, and the baker's maid named Mary, and Anne is Mrs. Fariner's name. Jane is a Samuel Pepys maid, and Pepys' good friend is Richard Moore. And the Lord Mayor is Thomas Bloodworth. And then 50 years later, London is a very different city. And also about the setting of the story, Thomas Fariner works in a bread shop. The fire starts near the Fariner's oven. Thomas, Anne, and Harriet jump to the house next door. And the Lord Mayor lives in Maiden Lane. Pepys worked for a government. When the fire starts, Pepys is asleep in the bed. Pepys writes a diary at home every day. Pepys met Richard Moore in the Tower of London, and Pepys Moore got to speak to the king in Whitehall Palace. In 3 days, the fire spread to Old St. Paul Cathedral. Okay, next is for the dialogue. Who say this? You are late, Mary. Okay, say Thomas Fariner. Wake up, girls, wake up. Say Anne Fariner. I can't, I'm afraid. Who say this? Mary. Wake up, sir, there's a fire in the city. Say Jane. It's no good, there's nothing we can do. Okay, say the firefighter. What is your name? Say the guard at the Whitehall Palace. Yes, that's the solution. Say the king. I went to pull down houses near the fire, but no one listened to me. Will say the Lord Mayor. Lord Mayor, we are here to blow up houses. Will say some of the king's soldiers. Okay. And next for the flat, the Great Fire of London started because Thomas Fariner didn't close the oven's door. Then Mary's died because he was afraid to jump to the next door, and the fire spread because there was a strong winds. Samuel Pepys live in a different part of London. Pepys get up and put on his cloth an hour after Jane first tell him about the fire. Bell ring from every church in the city, and Fariner said, I have a flower shop because he was pretend. Pepys and more go to the Whitehall Palace by bit, and in the end, the wind changed direction and the fire stopped. After the great fire, there are no more rats and narrow street in the center of the London. Okay, so that's for the about the Great Fire of London, and here is the other picture with words with picture. If it's you are confusing for the meaning, here is the words with picture. And then next, don't forget to revise again booklet page 35 to 36, page 37 to 38, 39 to 40, and revise the book chapter 1 to 6. Okay, that's all. It's okay for your assignment. Don't forget for RCV 4, revise Mulan and the Great Fire of London, references, notebook, booklet, revision sheet. So it's time to read again.